Hi everyone, Buyer's Agent Jay Pace here for Providence Property Group with a market update for the month that was May 2024. For those of you new to the channel, we are a national buyer's agency with offices in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide and Perth. We believe that there is always an opportunity to buy something somewhere, and we help you to be a player and not a spectator in your wealth journey, focusing on quality properties over quantity. We've been operating through 3 decades, and our experience will ensure no sleepless nights sitting there worrying about the property market. On this channel, we talk about all things property, but most importantly, I read the news and separate the facts from the fiction so you don't have to. I was honoured to be the MC for Bank of Queensland's major yearly charity event where we raised over $50,000 for the Parramatta Women's Shelter. It was a great day and such a wonderful cause. So I was just so honoured to be a part of that. Thank you so much for everyone involved and your generosity. It was amazing. Okay, let's have a look at the Hedonic Home Value Index for the month that was May. Let me just zoom in here. Okay, so best performer for the month, Perth 2% up, followed by Adelaide at 1.8% and then trailed by Brisbane at 1.4%. Annually for the year, we're still seeing Perth absolutely knocking it out of the park with 22% increase for the year so far, and we're only in June. Calm down, Perth. 22% up, second place 16.3% in Brisbane, and Adelaide 14.4%. Now, I'm going to say this because I know I'm going to refer back to this video in a couple years' time. Melbourne is definitely something that we're going to start talking about within the next year or so. I can guarantee it. Melbourne will pop, and we'll talk more about that. We're not ready yet. It's too early. There's still plenty of gas left in Brisbane and in Perth, so we're still going to keep taking advantage of that, but we'll probably start to go into Melbourne sooner or later. Now, let's do a quick speed check with our rolling 12-month movement. I've done the numbers from June 2023 to June 2024, so let's go through them individually. Perth, best performer still, $162,000 increase for the last 12 months or $3,100 per week. Brisbane, $137,000 increase for the year or $2,600 per week. Adelaide, $109,000 increase for the year or $2,100 per week. Sydney, slowing down a little bit, now $86,000 increase for the year so far or $1,600 per week. And Melbourne continuing to slow down at only $14,000 increase so far for the year or $300 per week. As I said, Melbourne's going to change. It's going to change, absolutely. But right now in the cycle, Perth, Brisbane are going, and Adelaide are going to be the main stars of the show, okay? Gross rental yields for dwellings, combined capital, still only about 3.6% as the average rental yield. Remember, receiving 3.6%, and that's before rental management fees, insurance cost, maybe strata, maintenance fees, and then you're paying tax on that income, and then you're paying out about 7% interest. Majority of properties around Australia are going to be negatively geared. So that's just something you've got to understand. And this is why a lot of the money is starting to move its way around to places like Perth, like Adelaide, like Brisbane, where they're above that 3.6% average rental income. Quickly, Reserve Bank of Australia, they're not meeting until later on this month, so we're not going to talk about them now. But let's have a quick chat about recent purchases. So let's look at some recent property purchases. And in today's video, I've chosen one property from each of our top 4 major capital cities. So let's start with Melbourne. We picked this up for one of our doctor clients from a regional area, and the property's not in the regional area, the doctor is, and they wanted to buy an investment with a budget of around $1.5 million. And the previous owners did a really great job with the renovation. And while we realize Melbourne is suboptimal at the moment from a residential investor standpoint, our client wanted to buy in Melbourne for a range of reasons. And when this occurs, we respect our client's wishes and we buy them the best property for the best price and terms that basically meets our criteria. So due to this unique advantages that we're starting to see and relative scarcity, this property is actually still going to continue to perform really well. So we're still fine with it. The chart that I'm showing you here just shows the last 4 years and 2 months of performance, where you can see Melbourne's only performed at 11.2%. Okay, so 11.2% or a $78,000 increase, currently down 4% from the peak of the market back in March 2022. And then if you compare that to the rest of the combined capitals, the average has kind of been 31.5% or 200 plus K. So Melbourne's severely underperforming. But this is why, as I said, it's a late horse. It will take off. We're not ready yet, so don't jump the gun, but we'll tell you when we think we're ready to buy there. When you look at the property itself, it really is a great property, very rentable, great location, subdividable block, able to be converted into 4 townhouses. So it's definitely going to get some growth, and that's going to continue to reflect the value on this property over time. These are the kinds of properties that we buy for our clients to drive capital appreciation. This actually was a really good buy. So this is a different property, but it's a house that's about a block behind that last one I just showed you. And this was sold in November 2023 for $1.52 million, the exact same block size as what we just bought. And that dwelling, this one you're seeing in front of you, this was in a poorer condition. It required work, but the market in that area is definitely moving in the last 5 months because we bought a better property and we paid $24,500 less than the people that bought this one. So that took care of our fee. So the client was really happy with us taking care of all that for them. All right, let's keep going. So just back to that property in Melbourne, distance from the CBD here was 7 kilometers north of Melbourne CBD. Purchase price was $1,495,000. Rental estimate $650 a week or 2.2%. Now this buyer did not plan on renting the property out, but because they've got living in the property, but because they have such a sizable deposit, their loan to value ratio was more attractive, which meant instead of a 2.2% rental yield, which is obviously below average, and Melbourne's notorious for having below average rental yields as well, their rental yield's probably going to be closer to 4% because they put a larger deposit down, and that larger deposit means they owe less, which means the income that they're getting is servicing a lower loan. So that means they've got more money in their back pocket. Why do we love this purchase? Top location. I mean, 7K's north of Melbourne CBD, you can't go wrong. Low maintenance, above average rental yield based on the deposit amount that they're putting in, and owner-occupier appeal. So we really liked it. Now on to Perth. Like many of our Perth purchases recently, this is an off-market property. And I'm going to do a whole segment on off-markets because I feel like they've got this little halo around them that you need to buy off-market's the best. It's not the case, okay? But if you can look for the right off-market properties and you've got a really strict policy and criteria, you can choose some real gold sometimes. So the photos here really don't do it any justice, but rest assured, our clients that buy properties with us, they receive HD video and photos from our local team. And the reason we have to take the photos is because we buy these before a real estate agent hires a photographer to come in and take those photos. So the client really heavily relies on our team and what they see. This is the practice with all of our teams. They personally inspect every property, and we propose to our clients that they review those photos again and again and the videos, and if they need reshoots, we'll do them. But this is really to ensure no nasty surprises. And I shudder to think about the fact that it seems kind of common practice for many buyer's agents now, and I use the term buyer's agents loosely because some of these people, it just boggles my mind. But to purchase properties, they're doing it over the phone. And what they do is actually have the real estate agent selling the property, who's obviously got a conflict of interest. They get the real estate agent to take the video. They send the video to the buyer's agent, and then the buyer's agent forwards it onto their client to say, look at this property my team checked out there. But they don't actually have anybody on the ground there. So this is a huge no-no for us. Huge no-no. And the best advice that I can give anyone shopping around for a buyer's agent is confirm that the company that you're engaging with has their own licensed people on the ground. It's just imperative. Just make sure you do that, okay? So this is a young property built in 2015, only 9 years old. It's a house on 240 square meters. So it's not a big block, but the house takes up the majority of the block, over 80% of it. It's got 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2 car spaces. I love a separated rear lane access garage. I just think it's very practical. It makes sense to me. And this house is only 3 minutes or 2 kilometers from this specific beach. This photo is from the beach right next to the house. That's 32 Ks north of Perth CBD. The purchase price was $626,500. Rental estimates, conservatively, about $500 a week or about a 4.1% rental yield. So why do we love this purchase? Well, it was off market. We secured it at a great price without too much competition. Top location, you can see that. Owner-occupier appeal, young property with little to no maintenance requirements. I mean, just fantastic. And then we bought this stunning home for a family seeking their own space in Brisbane. And owner-occupiers are always a little more difficult to buy for because there's more emotion involved in the decision process that they're making when buying that property. And this makes the journey take longer. But getting to the finish line is very, very rewarding for us because, you know, we're part of it. They know this is where the kids are going to go to school. This is going to be my room. This is where we're going to cook. This is where we're going to entertain. It's great. Okay. Beautiful modern internals. This house is on a humongous 4,213 square meter block. Okay. It's hard for me to actually convey just how big the house and the block feels. All right. I've got a cool image here that I got from our friends at Land Checker. Just to show you the size of this block. It is massive. Now, distance from CBD, it's only 31 kilometers south of Brisbane CBD. The purchase price was $1,201,000. This is an owner-occupier. However, if we were to rent it, this property would probably get us around $700 a week, which is only about 3%. But again, you don't buy this type of property for rental income. You buy it for development, or you buy it as an owner-occupier. So it's a massive block, usable land. The house has definitely got owner-occupier appeal, and there's huge development potential. So we really love it. So lastly, I've taken you to Melbourne, Perth, Brisbane, and now let's finish up in Sydney, where I am. Our Sydney team picked up this large 2-bedroom unit. They got this for a client looking for an investment property in the western suburbs for under $700,000. That was kind of their max budget, $700K, and they really wanted something that gave them high rental yield, low maintenance. And this unit is situated in an estate that was built during the Sydney Olympic Games. And they built these to house the excess of athletes and journalists that they actually had in the area, which is probably why it's conveniently located less than 2 kilometres from Sydney Olympic Park. And 3 kilometres from Rhodes Shopping Centre, and obviously you've got Parramatta Shopping Centre, you've got Top Ryde, you've got West Ryde Shopping Centre. It's very, very central. Great spot. Okay. The property sits on the Parramatta River, and it's got regular ferries that will take you to Circular Quay, Barangaroo, Parramatta. It's a good spot. I know this area actually quite well, and the bay run that they've kind of got here that goes all the way down to Meadowbank and past that through to Putney is actually quite lovely. Now, internally, it is large for a unit. I'm not a massive fan of units, but it is quite large. The unit is 90 meters squared internally, and that's just 2 shots, one of the living room and then one obviously of the kitchen area as well. Fixtures and fittings are beautiful. I really like the design in here. I thought it was really, really attractive. Our clients are thrilled with the outcome for this purchase, as the property's already increased in value by $45,000 in less than 2 months, because a similar unit in the same block sold for $730,000 after our purchase only a couple of weeks, okay, in the same building. So really, really proud of that. We bought it for $685,000. So $45K increase already. Really happy. Strata's low, about $1,000 per year. 15 kilometers west of Sydney CBD, $685,000 purchase price, $725 per week or 5.5% rental yield. And why do we love this purchase? Large modern internals, great location, above average rental income, below the client's maximum budget, and it's already made profit. We're just very happy, and the client is too. Remember, we can't help you until you commit, and once you commit, we won't let you fail. So we're bringing 2 things together here: your desire to build wealth and our nearly 19 years of experience buying properties. For more than 3 decades, Providence have helped Australians open a life of opportunity through real estate, giving them the future that they want. And we buy unique quality assets in areas where demand outpaces supply. So we focus on property that appeals to the much larger market of owner-occupiers that make up about 70% of all buyers, not the investor market that only makes up about 30%. So we buy in the right capital cities at the right time. And that's why I keep talking about Melbourne's going to be good, but not yet. You can't always pick the timing perfectly, but it is important to understand where things are in the cycle. There's videos on the property cycle on our YouTube page. Jump on it, check it out. We buy the property which is uniquely suited to your situation, which will act as a springboard to your next wealth building stage. So this is how top performers build wealth. If you like what you've seen here, you want to be kept in the know with the Australian property market, make sure to like this video, hit the subscribe button so you'll never miss me. And I want to thank you for your time today, and I will see you next month.